We're here at the presentation. I got all 30 of my slides pulled up, and this is who I've got all these guys going to. We'll start with the Diamondbacks. I'm going to start with Pete Alonso. I don't think this team brings back Christian Walker. He's older than I thought he was. Like, he's a little sneaky older. It's just because he was a late bloomer, you know what I mean? Like, Christian Walker was never really anything until 4 years ago at most, maybe. He's been one of the best first basemen in baseball, really, the last 3-4 years. Silver Slugger, Gold Glover. I don't think this team brings him back. I think that he's probably going to want more money annually than they're going to want to give him. Pete Alonso's a little bit younger. Pete Alonso's kind of like right in that prime year to get the big contract. But he's a first baseman, DH. Like, he's not going to get the full 10-year deal we see these shortstops or something like that getting. If I'm a team, I'm not trying to give Pete Alonso even 7 years, which is what a lot of people are looking at. So, yeah, I think they pivot. I think they go Pete Alonso a little bit cheaper, I think, annually. He should be. I think he's the kind of guy that this team needs. Other than that, Scherzer, Jansen, kind of older pitchers that kind of just plug in. Scherzer, it's a homecoming for him. It's where he started his career. Kind of a sneaky little fact to know. Other than that, Paul DeJong, I said it in the video to give Perdomo a little bit of competition because I don't think Perdomo was very good. Paul DeJong played pretty well for the Royals in the second half as well. Let's move to the Braves. Iglesias would be more of a second baseman, and that's when you'd have to figure out what are we going to do with Ozzie. Unless they want to play Jose Iglesias at shortstop, I think his glove would play either place. He's played both in his career. He's a Gold Glover. He's going to regress. Like, let's start there. Jose Iglesias is going to regress. His BABIP, batting average on balls in play, was pretty ridiculously high. I think it was 380 something, which is ridiculous. His batting average is like 330. He's going to regress. It's going to happen. I mean, he's always been kind of that kind of player his whole career. I think about just a couple years ago, he was with the Rockies. He was hitting 300 out of nowhere. I think he was playing shortstop for them that year too. And this team needs something at the shortstop position. RCA gave him nothing last year. Really, really nothing. So for the Braves-wise, it just didn't make a lot of sense. I think they bring in a guy like that, kind of be a spark plug too, if the Mets don't bring him back. They might even throw 2 years at him. Corbin feels like just like Chris Sale, though. Like, they can bring in this lefty, Corbin, probably let Fried walk. Corbin in a 1-year deal is probably all he gets. That's a low-risk, high-reward, because Patrick Corbin has been good in the past. Probably just needed to get out of Washington, if we're being honest. Kind of feels like a Braves move, a perfect Braves move, just like the Chris Sale thing last year. And then Lorenzen, he's kind of a swingman, starter, reliever, started a lot last year. He was good, too. Texas, he was good. Kansas City, not as great, but still pretty good. And he just kind of put a few solid years together, really, the last few years. Lorenzen really probably should get a multi-year deal. We'll see if he does. Corbin Burns coming back. I mean, not a super popular pick. A lot of people think he'll just walk. Whoever gets him is going to overpay for him. I think this ownership might do it because they got the new guys in there who might want to spend money. Teoscar, I think, is perfect for this team. A guy in the playoffs who can do it because that's what they're missing is a hitter who can just hit in the playoffs no matter what. And it's kind of killed them the last couple of years. And then Montes. I think Montes probably gets 2 years, something kind of low. I think it's the kind of guy the Orioles can bring in to try to bolster up the rotation because they kind of are missing a piece or two there, too. For the Cubs, I think bringing in Glaber would be a fun one, and I think that they'd trade Nico Horner to try to probably bring in some kind of starting pitching. Flaherty, I didn't really look into it, but after I made my video and I was watching some other stuff, Flaherty to the Cubs is kind of a popular pick. A lot of people like that. I do, too. I think a 3-year deal for Flaherty to the Cubs, it's a perfect fit there in Wrigley, too. The Reds, I think they are going to want to try to force a couple of hitters into this lineup. Martinez is a much better fit, I think, than Verdugo. Verdugo probably is going to go to some lower-end team to try to build some resume back up, and then we'll see where he goes from there. I don't think the Reds move the needle a whole lot this offseason. Tigers, one of the more important ones, I think. This team can really move the needle this offseason and kind of put themselves back into a position to get past where they did this year, which was already a surprise. This team's future looks bright, and money's off the books right now. I think Ha-Sung Kim is almost a no-brainer. This team needs to heavily pursue Ha-Sung Kim, someone who can just play anywhere for them. He's not going to be horribly expensive. He's kind of a dog, above league average hitter, great defender, rocket of an arm. He's got pop to him, too. I like Ha-Sung Kim. I think the Tigers are a great fit, too, because, and then if Trey Sweeney doesn't actually pan out like he probably shouldn't, former decent Yankees prospect, and they went to the Dodgers and he came back to Detroit, but I don't think that pans out a whole lot, and they've got more on the way. Like, Max Clark is going to be in the major leagues at some point, either this year or next year. Maybe probably not this year, probably next year. The future's bright. 3-year, 4-year deal for Ha-Sung Kim makes a lot of sense. Goldie, I think they bring him in to be DH first base, kind of him and Torkelson rotate in and out, because Torkelson was good at the end of the year too. Even if Goldie comes in and DHs for you every day, that's great. His glove is good. He's a little older. Gibson to give some depth in the rotation makes a lot of sense. And then Estevez to be back there. I think Joe will probably get stretched out. I know I said something in the video about it. He probably gets stretched out to a starter. So Tigers have a really big offseason ahead of them. I think that they can definitely be one of those teams that is the biggest benefactor of the offseason. And who knows, they might even make a trade for an impact bat too. I think Houston's the one who goes out and gets Walker. I think they're going to try to extend the window just a little bit. I know people are saying probably the end of like their dynasty window. You've still got Jose Altuve, who just doesn't ever show signs of slowing down. Jordan, Tucker, like this team's still got so much talent. And then they get a rotation full of studs too. And then Hader and I think Presley's a free agent, but Hader and Montero and guys like that on the back end, I don't think they're going anywhere. And they seem like the kind of team who would add Christian Walker, give him a similar contract to Abreu, hope that this one pans out more. Because the last one was just unlucky. Like, how do you expect that from a dude who was the most consistent hitter in baseball for a decade? And then that happens to him. Walker feels like a better plug and play. He's got a better glove too. So he's still got that, even if he's not giving you exactly what you want offensively. I think they go Moncada because I think they pivot. I think that Bregman leaves. Moncada feels like one who they can pick up for a year and see if he does something because he's a former huge prospect and someone who they might be able to plug and play. And Nick Martinez just kind of gives some depth to the rotation as well. So not a whole lot for the Astros, but Walker's a pretty impact move. He's one of the better ones available. Not a super deep class. I think the Dodgers have a pretty good offseason because they kind of need to build on what's there. Sasaki did get posted. He was not posted before when I made this video, so last night he did get posted to the MLB. A team's going to have to use the international bonus pool money because they can give him serious money for an international signing like that. And those teams to try to go after Hiroki Sasaki. Anyway, Dodgers are definitely a favorite for him to go there. Adames to give him a real deal shortstop long term. Maybe they try to deal Edman. I don't really know. They probably keep him around as some util. Fried won't be as expensive. I talked about it in the video. He won't be as expensive as we thought a year or two ago because he's had problems staying healthy and stuff like that. Then Presley back into the bullpen because I don't think Trinan comes back. I don't know where I have Trinan going, but overall builds on their World Series win. Weird to think, dude. It's like weird for me to think like they're World Series champions. It just feels like I thought it never happened. I don't know. But guess what? They went out and got the best player in the world and won the World Series. Who knew? Anyway, the Mets. Conforto coming back just feels like something that just feels like it's going to happen. He hasn't been anything special. He never was with San Francisco, and he had a hard time staying healthy. d'Arnaud was in their organization at one point. He comes back to be with Alvarez. Kind of makes a little bit of sense for me. I think their team gets Bregman because I don't think they get Soto. I think they get Bregman and slide him to third. Vientos can move to first. Someone commented on the video. Mets fan has no idea what they're talking about. They're like, we have Vientos. Why would we get Bregman? Because Vientos sucks at third, and he should move to first base. Pete's going to go. It's a simple fix. It makes so much sense for them because Bregman's a good third baseman too. Severino, Minaya, Winker all come back. Winker has to come back because he just like had the mentality that they needed for the Mets. AB turned their season around, so I like Winker to stay with the Mets too. It's a good offseason. It keeps around what worked for you. Minaya, like he's going to get real deal money. Severino, the same thing. And then you bring in a couple of extra guys. d'Arnaud's just like a nice piece. Like his club option should have been picked up. I don't know what the Braves were thinking. Let's move to the Yankees. I don't think that they grabbed Soto back. I know I put Garrett Cole because when I made the graphic, he had only opted out. None of the other stuff had happened yet. Tyler O'Neill is kind of a stereotypical Yankee. Like he just feels like he will be a Yankee. And it won't change much about them. Like he's going to be the same thing. But he's better than Verdugo. Like he's a better fit than Verdugo. I like Santana to go to them because Rizzo's not coming back. Santana's a much better fit for them too. Switch hitter, just kind of hits, and he's a Gold Glover too. I think that their big one. This still says Lorge. Jorge Polanco. Someone's gonna take a chance on him. It might be the Yankees. Their big addition though is Snell, who now that I think about it more, like I think he might go back to the Padres. If they're gonna spend in free agency, which I don't know if they will, they might just go and trade for someone. The Yankees make a lot of sense for Snell for me though as well. Just adds to the rotation. Do they try to move off of Rodon? Probably not. He's still got 4 years, I believe. You got Stroman in there. You got Cole there. Snell just adds another dynamic piece to this rotation. They could be unstoppable. I have no idea. That'd be a lot of money invested in starting pitching, but it's what wins you. It's kind of what wins you a World Series, starting pitching and hot hitting, you know what I mean? This is the one I had to do a lot of defense about. You could tell by my background, like I'm a big Phillies fan, but there've been a lot of things that are going on with the Phillies financially there's been a big investment thing. I just saw this thing on Instagram. It was $500 million invested into them by 3 people. That's $500 million out of nowhere this team gets to have. Middleton talked about wanting to spend more money. He goes out, he gets investors. I think he's got to make the play for Soto. He's got his old teammates too. Harper, Turner, Schwarber, guys who he's played with. It just feels like the team that's going to get him. Like, I know that no one thinks that, but all these things are pointing to, let's go get Juan Soto. And I don't really care how much money it takes. Some of the predictions I'm seeing, like 13 for 600, 14 for 620, whatever. You do that in a heartbeat. That is like the greatest investment you could possibly make, because I said it in the video. He lengthens the window for your winning by so much. Think about Harper and Turner are here till like 2030, 2032, 2033 in there. Harper's probably going to get extended to be here at the same time as Turner. Philly's window can extend by a lot if Juan Soto goes there.